Every rapper swears that they will never fall off. That is, until they do. However, what happens after rappers fall off?
It's my 2K, nigga. Hey, bro. You 2K baby, ain't it?
Yeah, man.
You be rapping that shit, huh?
Yeah.
But y'all had DoorDash and shit, bro.
You nigga DoorDash.
Nigga DoorDash, bro. Yo had a fell off and shit, man.
In today's era of music, you can literally have a viral hit song one year and then find yourself delivering for DoorDash the next. Yet, while there's definitely nothing wrong with working a normal job after the spotlight fades, which is the final level on our pyramid, for every rapper whose numbers eventually plummet, they all seem to follow these exact 6 steps on their way down, doing whatever they can to still pay their bills.
Yo, 11, what's up? Your nickname is called 1111. I wonder why. Big shout out to you, and I'm gonna make you an island boy. Just keep on going, keep thriving and striving. Don't let no negativity get to you.
Ever since we were kids, we've been told that the life of a famous rapper is filled with million-dollar mansions, luxury sports cars, designer clothes and jewelry, and overall more money than you know what to do with. But while this may be true for today's top superstars, very few artists reach close to that Drake or Travis Scott level of stardom. However, the one thing every artist does have, though, is bills to pay.
I just want to ask a question. Are you Young Jack? Can you turn around?
I mean, I think y'all already put that part together, yeah.
Oh,
so you must have fell off or something. Like, why is you?
I gotta fall off.
Given the state of 2025's oversaturated industry, making a living as a successful musician is arguably harder than ever. And while all these artists made it farther than I ever did as a rapper, the truth is, nothing lasts forever. One day, those same fans who are shouting your lyrics and streaming all of your music will move on to the next hot new name. And for the majority of rappers, this day arrives a lot sooner than expected. But whether you were torn down with false allegations in court, such as Lil Mosey, took too long of a break with your kid like Lil Skies, or just simply dropped too much mid-music like Smoke Perp, the 6 steps that rappers take after fame are always identical. And while some go faster than others, the journey always starts back at number 1. For every rapper that falls off, the fall off never feels real at first. Because, well, honestly, it's just human nature. Nobody wants to admit they aren't as good anymore as they used to be. But yet, no matter how hard they try to convince themselves otherwise, such as former SoundCloud star Lil Pump, all it takes is one quick look though at his recent album sales to tell us everything we need to know about the state of Lil Pump's career, whether he wants to admit it or not.
Do you feel like he predicted kind of like what ended up happening with your rap career?
Nope.
No.
Because I'm still here. I own
I'm not
two
saying
houses.
I'm not saying that you're not like still rich and successful. I just mean in terms of like, you know, I feel like there's so many parts of that era of rap where like people got fame so fast, they were so young, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like that was some of the foresight that he was saying, not even necessarily about quote unquote falling off, you know what I mean? You don't think he predicted anything?
I don't think he predicted shit.
Despite Bootleg Kev trying his best to take 2 minutes just to politely tell him he fell off, according to Pump though, he hasn't gone anywhere, and is still as hot as he was back in 2018. Also disagreeing on the thought that J. Cole's track 1985, which, if you can remember, accurately predicted how Pump's career would go down, with bars like, "One day them kids that's listening gonna grow up, and get too old for that shit that made you blow up," like all of Lil Pump's old memes, and viral social media antics.
Yeah. No security on my jury on. What up?
Now your show's looking light because they don't show up, which unfortunately means the money's slow up. Cole raps. Again, despite how hard he tries to deny it and run from the truth, as we can tell by his most recent album, Lil Pump 2, not only failing to chart anywhere on Billboard at all, but with no first week sales numbers reported either, this means that it totally flopped. Just like his old partner in crime back in the old SoundCloud days, Smoke Perp.
Hey guys, so it's Lil Pump the scientist and Smoke Perp the chemist, and we whips it hard tonight, and we about to take your to the movies. What up? Gang!
Believe it or not, back in 2017, Smoke Perp and Lil Pump were actually one of the hottest upcoming duos in rap, recording SoundCloud hits out of their closets and doing millions of streams. Clearly, the pair's success, though, was very short-lived. And going back to J. Cole's song 1985, there is definitely no arguing that this line right here about "shows looking light because nobody shows up," this bar came 100% true for Smoke Perp.
I filmed how there was no one there.
In 2022, Smokepurpp was clowned all over social media for performing to an audience that, quote, couldn't even pack out a high school bathroom. With only about 6 or 7 total fans in attendance, almost every time this happens and rappers realize they can no longer sell shows here in America, they then decide to instead shift their focus overseas and begin playing concerts in other countries. However, before this takes place in step number 3 of our fall off process, first arrived another post by Smokepurpp, still in denial. First they said I'm falling off, he typed, then their new excuse was we want the old perp, so I made the whole Florida Jit like old mosh pit perp. And closing with here on the side, Florida Jit Album of the Year. Smokepurpp's album Florida Jit would release with a pretty notable feature list including Jack Harlow, Rick Ross, Denzel Curry, Young Nudy, and of course Lil Pump, but despite Purpp claiming it was Album of the Year and that he didn't fall off, Florida Jit would only go on to sell an atrocious 5,000 copies in first week sales. But just when you're thinking that things could not possibly get any worse, we were then blessed with Smokepurpp's Tim Westwood freestyle, which I'm not kidding, might be the most laughable freestyle in the history of music.
But I know that he can change. You give me one more time. I'm a motherfucking stoner. I'm a motherfucking bone. I got a motherfucking bone.
This Smokepurpp freestyle will forever live in online infamy. However, before we can go any further, it's important for us to understand that there are levels to, quote, falling off. Today, a lot of people will tell you that rappers such as DaBaby, Polo G, or Roddy Ricch fell off. Yet, while I would agree that they've no doubt decreased in popularity, again as evident from their recent album sales, on the other hand though, thanks to their massive mainstream success only a few years ago, guys on Polo G's level of fame, for example, are still cashing in big checks each month from the old hits in their catalog. Like, with still 25 million monthly listeners on Spotify alone, and smash singles still stuck on some of today's biggest playlists, DaBaby is by no means stressing about his bank account.
Damn.
Hey yo, what happened to your leg?
I was at the top, and I fell off.
Whether or not DaBaby actually owns all these cars is up for debate. But as another example, with a certified diamond hit under his belt as big as The Box, I can guarantee that a rapper like Roddy Ricch will not be driving for DoorDash anytime soon.
Man, so when we talk about feed the streets, this dude got a full diamond fork and napkin in the fork. Hey man!
Yeah.
While some may have enough money to keep buying insane jewelry like this though, the one thing that rappers can never purchase, no matter how much money, is their perception in the public eye. What are fans saying about them online? What is the conversation surrounding their music? Now, you might be thinking, bro, this doesn't really matter, and while I wish I could agree, the truth is, today an artist's image and how they are perceived is arguably more important than the music itself. And if you don't believe me, then why have I had multiple rappers DM me asking to take videos down about them? Some even offering me a nice payment in exchange, and no, I've never taken a video down. However, as yet another clear attempt to deny the reality of where their careers have fallen, although I mentioned that you can't technically pay for your reputations, a lot of rappers still try.
They're fabricating it anyway. I don't believe these streams anyway because the shit doesn't add up. Y'all be streaming out of this world and can't do a show that makes it make sense. Like,
in an effort to appear more popular than they actually are, it is not uncommon for artists and their labels to try various sketchy loopholes, such as probably the most popular, paying for fake streams and views.
It's one of those things that like everyone in the industry knows is going on.
Which is?
Faking the streams. It's a real thing.
By inflating their numbers through the use of fake bots, a technique that French Montana, for example, has been called out for multiple times. Although his stats may look better on screen, these rappers who fake their streams, though, are only hurting themselves more in the long run. So, at this point in our process and in step 1, denial has fully taken over. Not to mention that rappers have some of the biggest egos on the planet. This realization that they slipped is often extremely tough. However, once they are done blaming everyone else, and once their illusion finally starts to fade, it's then when they are forced to deal with what follows. Faced with the haunting new reality that their checks aren't nearly as big as they used to be, step 2 is when artists start to get desperate. Combined with the constant added pressure as a rapper to always keep up that lavish image, now is when they begin to stretch the limits of what they'll do for a check. Last year in 2024, former SoundCloud rapper YBN Nahmir found himself in viral headlines thanks to this decision, beginning to charge his fans $3 just to send him a DM. Arguing that people pay $10 for an OF subscription, but trip on him getting $3 for a DM. For an artist though, like YBN Nahmir, who is now 8 years removed from his multi-platinum hit, Rubbing Off the Paint.
They say, "Lil Nahmir, where you been at? I'm just passing the breeze. But just know a nigga get back, and this time I won't leave.
But also considering that YBN Nahmir had always been posting stuff like this on his story, flexing his net worth on Google, which, by the way, is almost never accurate, and claiming that he was worth in the millions, so for fans to then see Nahmir this desperate for money came as a surprise. However, along with going on to get trolled by fans in his DMs, such as this one, unfortunately, in the case of YBN Nahmir, his desperation just kept dropping to new lows.
Scammed by YBN Nahmir for $2,000. He basically agreed like he was gonna pay me my money back. I was gonna be the first one to get my money back once he gets paid or once he gets money in. He was waiting for that, never got no response, so pretty much that's the dud, like charge it to the game.
Now resorting to both scamming what little fans and supporters that he has left, as well as asking Adin Ross if he can fight in his boxing event, but then, after telling Adin that he needs more money to do it, this would only backfire right in Nahmir's face.
Don't mention me if it's some bullshit. I don't give a f no free promo.
I got it. Nahmir, you're not worth $100,000. You fell off. You suck at music. You failed your music career. You know what I'm saying? I got no disrespect to show but that, and your career sucks. You wanted 100 bands? You want 100 bands to fight.
If getting clowned on by Adin Ross wasn't bad enough though, meanwhile, on the music side of things, YBN Nahmir was doing just as terrible. Besides cursing us with one of the worst songs ever humanly recorded, titled Soul Train, if you've never had the misfortune of hearing it.
Would it make you happy? It don't feel.
Bro, what? Yo. No, hold up.
I gotta stay focused.
Yo, no. Oh, no, man, yo. I can't. Oh, hell no. Bro, I'm scared to put my headphones back on. Bro, I hear the trash without hearing the trash.
But YBN Nahmir's album would also get certified double paper plate, somehow managing to sell even less than Smoke Perp. Yet, speaking of our boy Perp though, Smoke Perp is another rapper who has no doubt made it to step 2. 2 years ago, out of curiosity, I had the idea to send Smoke Perp a DM asking how much he currently charges for a feature verse. However, after forgetting to respond after he told me it's not a set price, and that he can work with my budget, I would then not only get 1 message, or 2 messages, but a total of 3 messages back from Smoke Perp, basically begging me to buy a feature off him. In the end, he never did tell me a set price, but featuring on much smaller songs like Smoke Perp with much smaller artists is another common strategy that takes place during the desperation stage. Likely another sign that these rappers need some fast money. We start to see them pump out lazy features every few weeks for a quick paycheck. But rappers' willingness to collaborate and accept more gigs now out of desperation doesn't stop at just the music.
1111, shout out to you. I wish you many monies for many moons. Peace and love, Dan Tony on the wings. From me and Holly, you know it's all about how you're feeling. How you're feeling determines how your day's gonna go and how you're gonna be treating others. If you're sleepy, you're gonna be sleepy.
In addition to Riff Raff, various other rappers have also joined this website called Cameo to make some spare money, offering fans the chance to pay celebrities to make you custom videos. But yet, aside from Cameo, with their booking price having dropped, along with their popularity, it's at this point too when we start seeing some of them link up with streamers and smaller influencers, such as Jack Doherty, who sadly has the money to pay him. And despite, I guess, getting an easy bag from him, for these rappers though, such as Polo G and Lil TJ, who are already struggling in the mainstream, is the money really worth getting clipped next to the most degenerate streamer online?
Lil Durk, yo, Polo G, what do you think about Lil Durk right now? How did this guy, Lil Durk, get here, bro? They let him out for the party. Yo, what is happening? Why are you so shy, man? Dude, you're a funny guy, bro. Gotta be yourself. You got this.
Know that, man.
Making content with Jack Doherty is an instant path to lose respect. However, for those who prefer not to stream with one of the worst humans on the planet, there are a few other common methods we always see for rappers to take advantage of their former clout. Fashion Nova. Well, not just particularly Fashion Nova, but for an easy bag, rappers and fallen off influencers will often start accepting tons of random promo deals from a bunch of random companies, thus flooding their social media accounts with annoying promos that they never would have even considered in the past.
Yo, what's up, y'all? I'm still running promos. I'm doing page posts, story posts, doing promos for the low. So y'all make sure y'all hit me up in the DM to get a promo for a great deal. My DMs are wide open, or all you gotta do is just swipe up on the story to hit me up in the DM if y'all trying to call a promo. Stop playing and go call a promo. Y'all already know what it is. Don't waste no time. Let's do it and let's work some business out. Yes, sir. Much love. Island Boys. Brr, in the building. Yeah.
But besides the Island Boys, who have promoted it seems like everything by this point, there's also this ad that I always see on about all the platforms, and you guys probably have too, for the sketchy game that claims to make you money as you play it.
What's the most money you made off this game before?
Probably around like 5 racks.
Damn!
Yeah, I make a lot of money off this game.
5 racks on here, do you cast it out?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm playing this when I get home.
Yo, man, what's up? It's Polo G. Download today and start making money gaming.
Polo G literally looks like he's being held at gunpoint to play this lame game. However, after raking in every last penny that they can here in America, having done promo with every brand that wants them, and having played every frat party that will pay them, it is then when we advance to step 3 in the fall-off process. Have you ever noticed how concerts in basically every other country other than the US always look way more lit? Like, for example, just look at how insane this crowd goes for Yeet over in London. But it low-key makes a lot of sense. Considering the fact that American artists obviously perform the majority of their shows here in the US, this means that overseas fans rarely get the chance to see them. So if an artist does finally pop up in their city, it's like a once-in-a-lifetime event. And with that being said, it also makes sense then why after a rapper like Smokepurpp gets embarrassed for not selling any tickets in America, their next move is to tap into their overseas audience. In many cases, it may even be an artist's first and last time playing shows in that country. Thus, these international concerts are typically able to sell way more tickets and have way better crowds.
I shot the video in London last year. Yeah. So I'ma do it like this. I'ma paint on the face like I'm doing what?
On one hand, it's honestly great that overseas fans get to see these artists they may have always wanted to. But at the same time though, you just have to watch out for when fallen off acts such as Icy Narco then start posting and bragging about how packed his shows are. But as we can see here by the location, this was a show in France, when in reality, Icy Narco would be lucky to sell a quarter of these tickets today in America. When it comes down to it, taking your career overseas is just another way of delaying the inevitable. However, even this method eventually dries up. Now forced to return back home to the States, and now left scrambling for anything that will stick, step 4 is when the ideas run wild. By the time rappers have hit step number 4, their overseas bag is gone, but while their desperation may have faded, the panic is as clear as ever. Thus, it's at this point when rappers and their teams start to really think out of the box and experiment with new ways to connect with fans. For some guys, this can mean more traditional and safe routes like appearing on TV shows such as Love and Hip Hop, which is a guarantee sign that you fell off.
My song played. I'll take everybody outside right now and play a whole nother song for y'all.
You don't need to be acting like this.
Yeah, I might be a little off the chain, but when you're talking about my career, I take things serious. I'm introducing everybody to the new turned up Ray J. What it do?
Or a rebrand could also look like something totally different, such as now trying to be more of an influencer, like when Lil Skies tried to go full YouTuber mode.
When we go into Baltimore and shoot some content, I guess that's what he said, shoot some content for y'all, so we ride through the cornfields right now. I'm gonna try to do these vlogs for y'all as much as I can. This day in the life type stuff, regular stuff that I guess I wouldn't say normal people do, but yeah, whatever, just normal life stuff, honestly. Nothing special, just showing y'all my life.
If you're wondering why that clip was so blurry, I promise you it wasn't my fault. Deciding to upload this Skizzy Adventures vlog to his nearly 3 million subscribed channel. The only problem though, he literally posted it in 240p. 240p is insane work, the top comment jokes. Thankfully, Skies would learn from this and upgrade to 4K for his next vlog. Yet, while in my opinion, it was still cool to see more of a genuine side of his life, or I guess kinda see, we also can't forget the rapper to streamer pipeline that is extremely strong today. Over the past few years, as streaming has totally exploded in the mainstream, we are continuing to see more and more rappers launch their own Twitch channels. Now, about 5 years ago, that sentence would have sounded crazy. But, as you will also probably notice as well, it is not any of the big superstars that are going live on their own trying to monetize, but rather instead, it's all rappers who are looking to reignite their careers in any way possible.
Y'all niggas, bro, y'all better turn y'all speakers down, bro. I don't give no f, bro. I don't care if the music loud, nigga. I'm not your daddy, nigga. Turn your speakers down, pussy. Y'all stop complaining like some hoes. What's wrong with y'all?
I just made this shit yesterday. I don't have no crazy skins. I'm not crazy fire at it. Just made this shit yesterday for y'all. We about to go crazy. Well, I'm about to go crazy. Look at your boy.
Some of these guys, such as Ski Mask the Slump God, just want to go live with their fans and make a little money. However, while that is totally cool, on the other hand though, what if a rapper's rebrand turns out to be successful? Apart from DDG, who is one of the few exceptions where a rapper has found even more success in his new streaming career, there have been a couple other rare cases where rebrands have worked to perfection, such as Joe Budden. Following a total of 8 albums and a certified gold hit, back in 2018, Joe Budden decided to officially retire, to instead solely focus on his career as a podcast host. And I think he made the right call, as Joe Budden is now one of the biggest voices in hip-hop media today. T Grizzly, who, if you can remember, has a couple old bangers to his name, has been able to run up a massive bag lately, instead playing Grand Theft Auto.
The Grand Theft Auto server called Grizzly World. So it's like Grand Theft Auto, but everything in there is super customizable. You could do whatever you want. I could put that hat in there because you got to pay to get in, right? We got like 90,000 members.
You killing them.
90,000 members.
And it turned into way more than that.
It turned into down there 50 a week.
That's crazy.
You feel me? So
200K a month playing video games will never not be insane. However, speaking of rebrands though, as I just covered in my last video, although no one really cares about his music anymore, this past month, 6ix9ine has been on a comeback run of his own, thanks to his new shifted focus onto being a content creator, with even a special agreement hidden in his new contract, which requires him to stream. However, in most cases though, these attempts by rappers at a dramatic rebrand often fail, especially when they try to go the OF route. A decision that, I'm sad to report, names like Blueface, Lil Pump, and the Island Boys have all unfortunately made.
In the Island Boys' desperation, at the deepest pits of the Shadow Realm, they hatched one last nefarious idea in order to get people to talk about them again. I'm not exaggerating and I'm not lying either. The Island Boys are back in the public eye because they are making out with each other.
Having stooped to new lows I didn't even know were possible, at this point in our fall-off process, there are only 2 choices left. Option 1, quit now and disappear off the internet forever, or if you still feel like you have some in the tank, advance to step number 5. When all of their new ideas and attempts to rebrand have failed, every rapper then defaults to the same exact strategy, trying to relive their old glory days. Rather than keep evolving, it's at this time when rappers start returning back to what had previously worked for them in the past.
Now y'all want me to make a album? Alright, say less.
I've been smoking blunts like back to back, little bitch, I'm smoking strong.
Attempting to tap into fans' nostalgia and recreate that old magic. However, the only problem though, after waiting all of these years, does anyone even care about them anymore?
I had one of the biggest songs to ever come out in history. I mean, I literally was on top of the world at one point in my life. What up? My name is T Wayne. You might have heard of me from the song First Let Me Hop Out the Mud.
2015, this guy named T Wayne released one of the biggest online hits of the entire year titled Nasty Freestyle. But despite going absolutely viral on the old app Vine, which RIP Vine by the way, T Wayne was not able to capitalize on his viral internet hype and build himself a sustaining rap career. However, now over 10 years later, he is trying again, not only releasing a part 2 to his old hit track, but also a part 3. Which, as we can tell though just from the top comment, his time in the spotlight is long past. Yet, T Wayne is far from the only rapper to try this. Whether it be Designer, who, prior to beating his on an airplane, released a sequel to his old Timmy Turner hit 8 years after the first, Trippie Redd, who seems to add a new addition to his Love Letter to You series every time people say he fell off, as he's now up to number 5, Wiz Khalifa, although forever a legend, Wiz's latest 2025 album was Cushion Orange Juice 2, which is the sequel to his old classic mixtape from 15 years ago, as an attempt to try and reel in as many old fans as he still can. Just like the once unstoppable duo and OG Lyrical Lemonade stars, Lil Skies and Landon Cube.
Do you think we fell off?
Lil Skies linking back up with Landon and announcing that he's returning to his old sound is another perfect case of this. Or, once again, Smoke Perp. Aside from having already attempted this with his Audi Part 2 sequel, as another tactic in trying to nostalgia bait fans, Step 5 will also often include reuniting with former partners, hoping to, again, recreate their old viral formula. However, almost every time, these rappers fall way short and just look mad corny in the process.
Studio is closed. What? Oh, Little Pump? Smoke Perp?
Lil Perp, let's go trap.
Do you guys want to record?
Let's get it!
Alright, so what beat do y'all want?
Huh?
Ooh, play the beat. Sure you don't want to wait for me?
I said he'll be back!
Okay, fine.
Let's get it!
Reuniting with former collaborators really only works when you're older, or if you're in a different genre, like when a rock band does one last reunion tour together. But in hip-hop, it's almost always the same thing. one final attempt to squeeze whatever money is left before the lights shut off for good. No matter how hard you try to recreate your old hit or release the sequel to your classic album, nobody can rewind time, and the second that people move on, it's extremely hard to reel them back in. And so, with this considered, after rappers realize that no amount of rebrands, overseas shows, or recycled throwback songs are ever going to be able to reverse their fall, this is when we reach the final step. At the final level of our process in Step 6, the fight is officially over. By now, all their numbers have dropped, the hype has faded, and that perfect career that they've dreamed of is now out of reach. Yet, instead of running from it, like we saw most try at first, Step 6 is when rappers finally stop fighting reality, and begin to acknowledge the fact that they had a good run, but also that life goes on and times change. However, while that may sound great and all, again, unfortunately our bills don't stop. And for a lot of these so-called one-hit wonders, who are also not the best at managing their money, once their streaming money eventually dries up, this then leaves us with the question, what do former rappers do to pay their rent? Often with criminal backgrounds and covered in face tattoos, it can be difficult for rappers to land regular jobs after their music career fizzles out. And combined with most of their egos, simply not able to let fans see them out working a 9-to-5 day job. For this reason, driving for Uber Eats and DoorDash is actually a very common route that many take to hide their face. Although, despite their best efforts, they aren't always able to stay hidden.
Damn. That's my 2K, nigga. Hey, bro. You 2K baby, ain't it?
Yeah, man.
You be rapping that shit, huh?
Yeah.
But y'all had DoorDash and shit, bro.
You nigga DoorDash.
Nigga DoorDash, bro. Damn, y'all had them fell off and shit, man.
Yeah, bro, I ain't business, you hear me?
Hey, what song you used to sing, though?
You know my song, bro. Why you doing that?
Hey, what song he used to sing, bro?
Shit, Old Streets, ain't it?
Old Streets? Damn, bro, we can't get no picture, bro.
Yeah, get a picture, man.
Just 2 weeks ago, rapper 2K Baby was spotted while out delivering food for DoorDash. And while again, I want to make it clear that there's nothing wrong with working a normal job like this, as the fairly popular rapper he was though just a few years ago, this clip instantly blew up, as fans were clearly surprised.
Alright, let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and address this shit. I know a lot of y'all probably seen the video going around. You know, them two niggas walking up on the nigga. Yeah, that was me DoorDashing, gang. Shit, I'm gonna keep it a bean like 100. Like, nigga gonna do what he gotta do. You feel me? Motherfuckers ain't really streaming the music right now how I would like them to be. I mean, I'm a grown-ass man. I'm gonna go get it by any means. You know, I do a lot of other shit outside DoorDashing, too. Like, I hustle, you know. I go get it. I ain't got no shame. I ain't got no pride problems. I don't think I'm too good for this or none of that. You hear me?
Now, it is important to note too that not every rapper that falls off is able to reach this final stage 6 of peace, as for some like Lil Pump, he seems to forever be stuck in a never-ending cycle of the previous steps. And while again, some bigger names do have the luxury of living off of their past hits for the rest of their lives, especially if they invested their money smart, but others meanwhile have been able to discover completely new passions as they grow older.
I kind of said to myself, I want to do something I'm passionate about. I wanted to allow users, no matter where they were, to use their cell phone as a studio to record music.
Nearly 20 years now after his smash Billboard #1 hit, This Is Why I'm Hot, following just his second album, rapper Mims chose to put the mic down and instead transition into the technology field, going on to launch his new app called Recordgram, with the goal to help artists and producers connect with no unnecessary middlemen. Ice Ice Baby rapper Vanilla Ice has been buying and flipping lakefront properties in South Florida for the last 15 years, and even had his own HGTV show, which ran for a successful 9 straight seasons.
Wow! That's what I'm talking about. See, there is a method to his madness.
The Vanilla Ice Project on HGTV.
Along with opening up his own restaurant in Houston and winning the Good Morning America title for Ultimate Burger Spot, rapper Bun B, now at age 52, has also been teaching a hip-hop and religion course at Rice University since 2011.
They have an opportunity to see exactly what we're doing at Rice University. It's a beautiful opportunity that I've been able to have on the campus.
Whether it be teaching classes and flipping burgers, building technology apps from the ground up, or even streaming Roblox on Twitch, the truth is, the rap game does not come with a planned-out retirement package. The music industry is honestly a cutthroat business, and record labels will spit you out the second you stop making them money. So, once that spotlight inevitably burns out, every rapper is forced to face the same question. Who are they behind the fame?